Rocket has donated a game to us, so as per my policy, I'm going to play it for a stream. We'll use the time to evaluate it and determine whether or not it's going to appear again later after other stuff. The backlist is starting to kind of pile up again. So now I've got God of War, Ender Lilies, and probably this. It's a Phoenix Wright game, so I should enjoy it. Plus, it's more silly Persona-like voice acting, so that'll be fun too. Although I'll have to guess a lot more on the voices, so we'll see. But in any case, I hope you guys have had a good weekend. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. I'm a bit rusty on the Phoenix Wright games. I haven't played one in like 3 years. Mostly British, a couple of Russians, and Irish.
This is taking too long!
Well, I know I sure can't do Irish. That's not happening. Good evening, Fix. How are you? And I did decide to go ahead and go with controller. It sounds quiet. Special contents. New game. Oh, cutscene.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation.
Oh, I forgot.
The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
Except for that guy.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
The Adventure of the Great Departure. They always show you who does the first crime. Is that not the protagonist, though? Okay, that's going to get annoying. Defendant's Antechamber 5. Supreme Court of Judicature. That's a word I'm not familiar with. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How can it be that just beyond the doors to this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan waiting to decide my fate? All right, let's take a look at the options. Gameplay. Screen flashes. Off. Thank you. Hello, eyeless man. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry. My name is Ryanosuke Naruhodo. Naruhodo? I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. Oh. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you. You haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Right, Ryanosuke? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no. I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. Ha 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 ha. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Ah, Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yume University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not! It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers... Okay. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Filet mignon at a cafe. Asogi, may I have a word? Oh, Professor, I didn't know you were coming. Well, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now, Asogi. You should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. Obviously, he called him a professor. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. All right then, Ryanosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes. Thanks, Kazuma. This is awkward. Yeah, you think? If I may. Yes, sorry? You must be the defendant. Ryanosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Yujin Mikotobo. I'm never going to remember these names. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked. Never granted again. What? Ah, as I suspected. You were unaware of this. I had a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration is to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. Ah, I see we're going with the British wording of things. Favorable. Spelling, not pronunciation. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it. I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. Am I getting married? I do. But what will the question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? What? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once! It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving! There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. Ooh, classy zoom in. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, you'll be in prison. I'll be found guilty of murder. And probably killed. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. Yeah, the judge always looks the same. But maybe not. So this is a courtroom. Oh, we're on the other side. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. What? But why? It will become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate, Ryanosuke. It's about to begin. Oh, see, I know it's not the same judge, but they made him look the same too. I love how Pain is always the first prosecutor.
The court will now hear the trial of Ryanosuke Naruhodo.
The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency.
As is the defense.
Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate.
That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself.
Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I am obliged to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial?
Oh, that's where I'm supposed to say I do? This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do... I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Answer I do.
Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed.
What's up with Ryanosuke's eyes? He's all over the place.
What is the meaning of this unruly outburst?
I would like to inform the court that my armpit smells. I, Ryanosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself.
You'll be...
What? What are you playing at, Ryanosuke? Professor Mikotomi told me everything. Oh, told me everything. Just now, before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. Dashed? How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. It's not that kind of game. No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel. Which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Tisk. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Well, I just kind of figured that by saying I would represent myself, he could still advise me, but not suffer the consequences of a loss.
Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial.
Well, well. Does the accused admit defeat already?
Renouncing his own counsel.
Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent, he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san?
Yes. My nervous eyes betray confidence.
Hmm? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. And now we're sweating. Ah, yes, another sign of confidence. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered.
Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed.
As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of the Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo?
Yes, Your Excellency!
It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken.
My competence? What does that mean? That's not a good start. He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am.
So, let's start with the very simplest of questions.
Oh, yes!
Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case.
Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But, wait, Ugh, I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Rinosuke. Let me guess. Your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of RB. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to... Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Alright, there's no time to lose. Oh, we still get a badge. Okay. Find details about the victim. Yep. Thank you. John Wilson, huh? Okay. Oh, B to go back. Okay. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you'd better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then press Y to present. Try it now. I always like, until the penalty comes up, I always love answering the questions wrong to see what the reactions are. So I'm going to say that Kasuma was the victim first.
Yes!
No! The victim was none other than Kasuma Asogi.
Objection!
Oh, then why is that pompous-looking boy with the billowing headband still standing there next to you? Oops. Oops doesn't do that justice. Not content with having killed Dr. Wilson, now you're claiming my murder as well? I haven't killed anyone. Then concentrate and actually read the court record before you answer. It's crap like that's why I answer wrong, until the penalties show up. I must say, you are not instilling the court with much confidence here. Quickly, give him the correct answer before he turns his gavel on you. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, then... yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Haha. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally, and as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. That is a mouthful. Trying to think if that's an acronym or something. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. So that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. British Empire. Wow, it's incredible to think. Wait. Take it in, Fix. I will produce more shortly. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. Yeah, I know, my throat cracked there a little bit. So I went over to the professor's table, and then I shot him in the head. And introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? Gunshot to the chest. I see. State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death. Well, obviously, that was, yes, the court record. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death, and then select present. Do it now! My collar pen did it. The evidence that shows the victim's cause of death is, of course, this. And on what basis do you present this evidence? Well, because it was in the court record, of course. Slow down. Why did you pick that? Isn't there something more relevant looking? Well, now that you say that, I suppose. Pick the wrong piece of evidence again, and it won't be a mystery as to your cause of death. Yikes. He sounds and looks deadly serious. Yep, okay. Fine.
Yes!
Well, according to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. He bled out.
Learn to read, you imbecile! That's the post-mortem report, I take it?
Sorry, yes, that's right. The, post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later.
This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime.
Oh, I see. The fact that there's no blood on the stake is going to be a part of the evidence later, I'm sure.
You can clearly discern scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range.
Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. Right? It looks like it hadn't even been touched. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. Now that we've ascertained the victim's name and cause of death, let us start the trial.
Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened.
This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Oh. Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, hold on. Doing that prosecutor's voice kind of hurts. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kasuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Giggity. Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Yeah, that Rambo headband of his just does not stop fluttering. Oh, that looks like the bellhop from the, that hotel. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Hatoro Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called Le Carnival. Ahem, ahem. What the? Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really, really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants, an Occidental eatery, 3 days ago. Understood. Hosonaga-san, you will kindly tell the... No, that's so... I lost his voice. You will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits in with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Hold on! Let me just clarify something here. Well, I did pick up a gun that I found lying on... see, that was your first mistake. You don't pick up the murder weapon. Even if your intentions were innocent, you are immediately tampering with the scene. And you're practically pointing a finger at yourself that says, "Everybody accuse me!" While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him.
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, Defendant Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryanosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today? Yes, without question. I see.
And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim?
Right? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Nope. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? Nope, there was a place setting and a meal behind him. There was no one else around that table. What's the matter, Ryanosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? Is there still a cross-examination phase? Then I'll wait and see. I mean, the tutorial one's kind of on rails as it is. I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Ryanosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. I'd never have gotten into Yume University otherwise. Blah, 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 blah. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know. If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. All right, you've scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just going to shut my eyes and say it. Come on. That's not objection. Why is it yes? Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, dear me. What are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Ah. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Osanaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. Stop coughing. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please, have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Oh, you need your business card back? Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He's been completely calm and collected until now. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been it. Yeah, whatever. Let's get past that. That's annoying. So, the court has now heard precious? How is that word pronounced? Of the case. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we're looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency?
If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you.
In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of this case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. And you didn't call that first because? What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Would it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? No! Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so is the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryanosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Aochi, please continue with proceedings. Tisk. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witnesses. Wait, I want to see something. Very well. Officer, bring forth the witnesses at once. What's on the other side of the business card? Can I not flip it over? I like that you can see where the ink bled a little bit. That's a nice little touch. No, it won't let me flip it. You didn't want me to have this business card. Whoa. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The Great Nippon's Imperial Army, Sergeant Aisa Nosa, reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Kaiurio Korikuta, at your service. I know what that voice fix was seeing if the mutes were off cooldown. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea of the most exquisite aroma at the establishment in question, always post-noon, and not infrequently converse with the interested parties regarding the curios with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at Le Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets Le Carnaval because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct?
Affirmative! The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war. Sir! It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm. Sir!
This man's as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last... I heard it too! It sounded like a squeak toy or a baby cry or something. So, this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. The soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes? Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start.
Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred.
All right there? What the crap is it?
Sir, yes, sir. Standing by, ready to report, sir.
Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. 2 witnesses at once. What the witnesses saw.
I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man.
Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman.
At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes.
It happens every time he does that, but I'm not certain what the...
The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysteriously absconded precious curio.
Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second where the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy.
What times we live in where an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryanosuke? Yes. All I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then when I'd finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant, when I noticed an English-made gun sitting next to the chair where the professor was sitting.
Like my package.
What's up, Dustin?
Gives me stimuli.
Get ready for some voices, dude. Terrible ones. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up, bang! Well, if that's the truth, then there was obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these 2 witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is? Ouch. A bunch of Migration Wiz licenses is it? Ryanosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now. As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. Oh. Oh, crap. Like, their host and services have been hacked?
It is time to bring this despicable student to justice.
Certainly. The testimony that the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Oof. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare that... Oh, okay.
Judge, my armpit still stinks.
That sucks. Yeah. I've used Rackspace services before. They're terrible. What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess. The Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? The prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Izuma is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. All right, this is where the battle really begins, Ryonosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witnesses' statements. Like the guy who said he was shot in the back? Come on. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that what that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of proving it, and the key to doing that is evidence. Right. Evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. The Phoenix Wright games have actually been a favorite of mine for a long, long time. Like, back when the original DS was out, or no, I got a DS Lite and I forget the name of the cartridge, an R4 cartridge that you could download ROMs to, and I got two of the Phoenix Wright games on it, and that's when I kind of fell in love with them. I really do enjoy the games. I do question a little bit their suitability for stream, but my policy is if I get a non-shovelware game donated to me, I will play it as my next stream. So Rocket graciously donated us this copy. Now let's go, Ryonosuke. Don't let them beat you. Huh, this table's wet. All right then. It's all right. It's all or nothing. Not this one. So this isn't Von Karma, so I can press any of these. Why? Why aren't you saying anything? Is this some new interrogation technique? I hadn't actually thought of what I wanted to ask. Just ask about anything that catches your attention. Anything that bothers you. Alright then. This beef steak you mentioned. What kind of food is Attention! Beefsteak is a delicious cut of veal, vigorously cooked on a cast iron grill and served piping hot. Oh. If food could receive medals of honor, beefsteak would be almost as highly decorated as a cutlet. Right, I see. Thank you, sir. So, next question. This cutlet you mentioned, what kind of food is that?
Cutlet is a delicious cut of veal tossed in breadcrumbs and deep fried in cooking oil. Accept your guilty verdict, atone for your crimes, and when you're released from prison, try it!
Yes, sir. I will, sir. I'm the double, sir. Sorry to interrupt, but how about trying to stick to questions that are relevant to the case? Oops. Sorry. I'll do my best. So, next question. Is it just me? Oh. Negative. Well, at least we've learned that he's a big beef lover. Oh, that was the wrong person. Affirmative. It's not easy knowing what questions to ask. I got an achievement for that? Okay. Hold on. I'm actually going to press on the other statements, too.
Yes!
I have no idea what you're talking about. A koban, boy. A koban? You mean an old Edo coin? The day prior to the incident, a treasure of exceptional value from the Hoei period entered my possession. I took myself to the restaurant the following day, with said items secreted in my bosom pocket. A little less detail, please. In the hope of an affluent cognoscent apprised of its indisputable value being present. So, you were hoping to sell your Koban coin to Sergeant Nosa, who you met at the restaurant?
Yes, yes. It's quite clear where you're going with this, boy.
You were about to assert that a penniless soldier would have no hope of purchasing a precious koban. What? Isn't that so? Well...
You little upstart cadet. You want to add disrespecting a superior officer to your list of crimes, do you?
Wait, which one's this? Mr. Grubbs?
Yep.
You are so wrong. It's this guy.
Really?
Yeah. Mr. Grubbs.
Whatever.
Baldy, pass me a sensor bean.
What, do you think I'm just giving
Jalapeno.
Because I'm not.
Yeah. All right. No, I didn't say anything. Although penniless might just be the word I was looking for. In any case, the hour was already advanced beyond that of the midday luncheon. There remained precious few present with whom I could engage in discourse about matters of business. The gentleman beside me, who was grappling with his braised veal at the time, was my sole prospect. I'm so glad I get to ruin the music with the sound of my voice. I see. Alright, firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's action with my own eyes.
Yes!
Okay. So, you're saying that you actually saw me at the time? Wait, don't ask it like that!
Affirmative. I saw you. Laughing, cackling, like a madman as you train the barrel of your gun on the English civilian.
Why does he keep checking his right hand when he does that? But that's impossible! I only... Allow me to confirm just one point, please.
What's that, Private?
Thinking carefully about the statement you just made, it seems to me that it must have been just after you heard the gunshot that you looked over to the victim's table.
And so what if it was?
Well, if that really is the case, it would mean that you didn't in fact see the precise moment in which when the killer actually fired the gun.
Arg! And double arg! My sixth sense!
Sorry?
My sixth sense of danger! I picked up the waves of murderous energy radiating from your foul mind. Which means, a split second before you pulled the trigger, I was looking right at you, cadet.
Surely that's not really possible, is it?
Do you think I'd have got where I am today in the Army if I couldn't sense danger in the air, son?
Well, it would seem the soldier is absolutely convinced that he saw you do the deed. This is not good.
Right? You need me on that wall.
Alright, this I'm gonna... yeah, and from the back. So we've got evidence to show otherwise. Shot from the front and subsequently died. And then he's gonna say that's the exit wound, and then we have... yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Yes!
What? What are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Thrusting some photographic print in my mustache.
And inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here.
Tisk, what nonsense!
What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in this grand courtroom. This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what?
What are you talking about?
It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense that there's a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement.
What?
Sergeant Ayesanosa.
Yes, sir. What, sir?
The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel.
Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be.
And why not, cadet?
Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest.
Ah.
Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it?
Oh.
What the... well... What? What the... What was that? Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again.
Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable.
I love how he just grabs it by the head and shoves it down. Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, that little baby is adorable.
My eyes were
firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony that the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Ayesanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. Hayarg! Oh my gosh, that's adorable. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. But I definitely saw him. That university cadet there. He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up off the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either. Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Who ignores a gunshot? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Treasure? Indeed! The Hoei Era Koban! My prize coin! On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habitude to place in my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Rasute. In the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you? On the day under scrutiny, it was to the military man I proffered my Hoei treasure. Believing that he would purchase such a rare find, I did not. But I was presented with little alternative. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest of moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Koban vanished? Hunting around under the table I was, in case mayhap it had fallen there. And then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did! But heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded Hoei treasure! Nothing could distract me! Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No! I see. That lamentable day, the precious Hoei Koban was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. The baby stole it? As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony that the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Ayuchi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. My witnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant, Ryanosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Ugh. Very well. The court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecution's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as Curico glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Excuse me, but there's something, or someone, peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido. Attention! Your father is about to quell the enemy. What's a pinwheel? Watch and learn, my boy. This is also one of the things I really love about the Phoenix Wright games. All of these witnesses are freaking quirky. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Yes!
Wait, that's nonsense. Wait, what was the judge saying? These testimonies are certainly compelling. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a woman. There was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her.
Objection!
If you call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photographic print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Really? Yeah. Indeed. Of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. As can plainly be seen, there was only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to record. Yeah. It looks like it has been bitten into with teeth, not cut with a knife and fork. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. That's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witnesses' testimonies we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. These are very sensitive political times, as we all know. The ink is still very fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, a Japanese name, will have contributed to the amity of these two great empires is an honor. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryanosuke. It's not over yet. Oh. For a brief second when I saw that, I half expected to see Mia there. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. Good evening, Auntie. How are you? I'm sorry I missed your stone block stream earlier. I got to watch some of it on mute while I was on the phone with my dad. But that 2x2 drawer system looks intimidating. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to cross-examine the witnesses, but make it quick. Understood? Tisk, rules can be so unbending at times. Alright, it's almost the same thing. No.
Yes!
No! It's not the same thing at all! For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of a uniformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. Have what? The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? And let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Korakutsu-san? So, I actually really like Stoneblock. It is the closest to Sky Factory that I've played. I find that as Ari has kind of played around with a bunch of different mod packs, I don't do well with mod packs where I'm aimless. They're just like, here's the world, go have fun. Oh, we've added a bunch of space cows and all sorts of random crap. Here's 300 mods or whatever. I find myself aimless in those. I need something to do. Like, Ari's happy to build a house out in the middle of the world somewhere, and that's fine, but I need a path, an objective, something to work towards. And I actually like Snowblock's quest system a lot more than Sky Factory's. Dude? This is not Persona, but how you doing, Perm? But it is more stupid voices performed badly. Yes, pointing the gun at the foreign man he was, that young man in black. That much I myself did see.
Yes!
Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've told you already, that's only because I'd picked it up off the floor. Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I had just finished drinking my coffee and I was about to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. Like the dumb idiot I am. And at exactly that moment, one other thing to explain. This is an offshoot of the Phoenix Wright series. They are best described as visual novels. Ah, yes. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry, what do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas conversely, I failed to pick up the Koban from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you, with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed we were the only personnel present. Alright. I need to take a look at something. A sketch of the restaurant's layout is on the back. I still can't flip it. What is the deal? Yeah, like this is not a steak that's been cut with a knife and fork. This has been bit into with teeth, like it was a sandwich. It's been eaten since this picture. Steak sandwich. Okay, yes. I'm going to press on this one. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. As you have been in pains to point out time and again, I feel I'm growing a callus in my ear. So does all of chat. And yet, no one appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. If only there had been more people dining there at the time, then maybe someone wouldn't have been murdered. Then someone else would have noticed her. Unfortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner in any restaurant. I know. Of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of a time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day. And why he was alone. He wasn't alone! Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? It is a medicinal. It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. He gets an A+. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Had a clinic? Yes, there would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. Too many. And this is the tutorial case. 19th November, noon to past 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went for a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really had no bearing on the case. I wonder, what do you think, Ryonosuke? I think I'm spending too much time preoccupied with the voices to actually follow the narrative here. Let's see. How to clinic. Noon to past 1 p.m. Late lunch. Okay. Well, it is hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it could be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's... Yes! Ask for it to be submitted.
Yes!
Fix pointed it out, too. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical report card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. So many syllables. On what grounds? It looks cool and I want it. The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony. Additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to his arrival at the restaurant are of no concern.
Objection!
Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore all possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to Bring it together. You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. Gangsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, please kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. What we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Oh, is that why they wouldn't let me examine the other side of the business card yet? Yeah. Rocket also had your back. She reminded me before
Keep it
stream.
simple, stupid.
Right, I hear you.
You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korakuta-san.
Alright, I want to see something. Oh, I can't even look at that. Okay. So I can examine this. I can't flip this over yet. Indeed. Alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone. That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in.
So the testimonies of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. As can clearly be seen, there is only a single beef steak on the victim's table. A meal for one.
No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Okay. I'm going to try to present something. I'm going to present this picture and see if that works.
Yes!
That statement is clearly odd. What appears to be odd is the way you're presenting yourself. Oh, pay no attention, Your Excellency. As you wish. Now, kindly lower your... Oh, the penalty system's in now. Crap. No, I'm not stopping the stream. But now that the penalty system is in place, you're going to see some save scumming.
Yes!
No, I didn't want to press him on that. I hit the wrong button. I'm going to press that final statement. I'm not finding an obvious inconsistency here that the testimony will let me point out. I just haven't pressed the final statement. I already did this scene. That's why I skipped through it. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out.
Yes!
Why aren't you telling the truth? What? What did you say, cadet? I clearly remember. There was a woman sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Unfortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter... Weird intonation. The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands that no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It is a blatant waste of the court's time. There is nothing I can say to that. We can present evidence. Excellent work, Ryonosuke. We've gleaned some new information now. Well, yes, but I don't feel like it changes much. I can't see that it brings any real discrepancies to light. Yeah, I had a feeling I was getting a little overzealous trying to present then. I wouldn't be so sure. Let me see that medical report card you got before. Oh, you mean this? Yes, this is a brand new piece of evidence, so perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. You know, like the court record wouldn't let you do before because of this tutorial. How exactly? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You'll notice that some pieces of evidence bear a magnifying glass. Those are the ones you may examine. That's a nice bit. That's actually kind of new. Yeah. You can catch them? I thought you just let them fly around while they dropped loot. I know Ari killed one. Oh, I like that they actually show if it's a clue. Good. Yeah. I'm planning on looking at both of them. So, partner, I think you should take a closer look at this medical report card. See if there isn't something new to be learned by examining it in more detail. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Oh, can I flip this one too? Or oh, there's a second page. Single bullet fired at close range, no exit room. Oh, we already saw that. Okay. That's not helpful. I still can't flip this. Oh, because I haven't finished this explanation yet. Medical report card required for every visit. It says Hada Clinic on the medical report card. I hate clinics. Almost as much as I hate hospitals and surgeries. Rocket with 30 months! Thank you so much. 2.5 years, Rocket. 2.5 years. And that's just Twitch. Aren't they all the same? When I was 5, I caught the only cold I've ever had in my life. Dude, you got lucky if that's the only cold you've ever had. And I remember, even though I felt awful already, I had to have this hideous injection in my right arm. Brr. I'll never forget it. Never in my whole life. I think Rocket regrets her life choices every time she subs to me. Most people would give their right arm to have had only one cold in their whole life. Exactly! Anyway, I don't think this is a clinic where they treat people for illnesses like that. Let's keep looking for clues. We don't want to miss anything. What's this stamp? Oh, that doesn't matter. Okay. Alright, we can open it. Dentist. It looks like this medical report card was first issued quite some time ago. It's probably a record of long-term treatment. That's why. With a family doctor, I imagine. Well, I can't imagine. Going to a doctor, I mean. As long as I'm alive, I'm never consulting one. Well, if you were dead, there'd be no point. So you don't like doctors, then? Why would you? They make you drink horrible-tasting medicine, they give you painful injections, and then they demand lots of money from you for the privilege. All when you're at your lowest ebb. You sound like a model patient. With a bad case of stubbornness, no less, for which the only cure is very bitter medicine indeed. I got an achievement for that. Open the book. Let's have a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. This is some kind of medical history. Ah, and there's an entry for the day the professor was killed. Extraction of molar with topical anesthesia. Oh, he would not be eating steak. Extraction of molar? You mean he had a tooth taken out? It would seem so. Just before the incident, he'd had a bad tooth removed. Perhaps they used laughing gas. That's the most modern practice in the West for pain relief. Yes, I've heard of this anesthesia, though it's hard to believe there's anything that can actually stop you from feeling pain. One of life's most glorious inventions. Could you imagine what it would be like to have some kind of surgical procedure on you before anesthesia was invented? Ugh. There's a cautionary note from the medical practitioner as well. Strictly no food or drink besides water for 3 hours post-procedure until anesthetic effects have passed. Yeah, right? Really? Sounds like information worth bearing in mind. Yeah, now we got it. With this new information, the meaning of that one particular statement totally changes. Oof. So, I think it's about time we listen to the testimony again, don't you? Definitely. Alright, before we continue, I am going to take an AFK here. I know I'm getting kind of close-ish to the end of stream here, but I haven't taken my AFK yet, so we're going to do it now. So if you need to, get up, stretch your legs, you know, do all the things. I'll be back in a few minutes. In the meantime, enjoy these clips, and we'll keep on going. Feel free to enjoy all of the clips equally, Auntie. Alright. Let's keep it going. Alright, so... Visual sheriff, the only personnel present. Dining all by himself. That's the one. No, that's not. Present it.
Yes!
Well, I think, about what are you wittering, lad? Call yourself a lawyer? I wish I could, but first and foremost here, I'm the accused. Ryanosuke. Everyone stumbles on their own words occasionally. Under the circumstances, I wouldn't worry about it. Thanks, Kazuma. I could see it quite clearly in the cross-examination you just carried out. When you raised your hand straight up like that so purposefully, you knew exactly what it was you wanted to say. Don't feel like you have to choose your words carefully. Just say what you're thinking. All right. And thanks for the advice. Korakuda-san, this is a medical report card belonging to the victim. Ah, I see. And I don't see. What of it, boy? Comparing what's written on this report card with your witness statement, something clearly doesn't add up.
Objection!
Dear me, dear me. Have you forgotten my words so soon, you amateur? Sorry, what? You are not to interrupt court proceedings with your amateurish drivel. But let's see if I can explain in words you might understand. It was after 2 p.m. in the afternoon. No, I've swapped their voices. When the victim was murdered at the restaurant. Whatever he may or may not have done before that time is completely irrelevant. But that's, wrong. Say the word wrong. Remember, Ryanosuke, you don't have to use clever language or fancy words. Just make your point. Your Excellency, I believe we're finished here. There is surely no need to prolong this trial further. How did you break it? The witness testimonies the court has heard have been clear and concise. This medical report card has no bearing on the matter at all, for the simple reason that there is no one else besides this pale-faced pupil who could have possibly... Oh, okay. Oh. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? What? That outburst half petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps because Hata Clinic, which issued the report card, is a dental clinic. A dental clinic? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted? What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Just what are you trying to say, Cadet? He had orders not to eat? So what? It's all written up in here. No food or drink other than water for 3 hours post-procedure while anesthesia wears off. What? No, that can't. Korakuda-san. What, boy? What? As you just heard, when he was killed sometime shortly after 2 p.m., the victim couldn't have been eating anything at all. No. Additionally, there's more. You have assured the court with unwavering self-confidence that the victim was dining alone. But that cannot possibly be the case. Because the victim, as we now know, had just had one of his teeth extracted and was still experiencing the effects of the anesthetic. So many syllables! Expertly done, partner.
Objection!
What? What is this nonsense, you little upstart? These are baseless accusations. Just look at this photographic evidence. You can clearly see the plate of food at the victim's table.
Objection!
Use your head. That's the very discrepancy we're talking about. Or can't you follow the logic? How dare you! I think it's fair to say that the tables in this restaurant case have turned. Wouldn't you agree, Ryanosuke? Air conditioning hadn't been invented yet. They got it ventilated somehow. I'm sure the windows are open. Yes, most definitely. So having just undergone some dental surgery, the victim was unable to eat. Which leaves one very crucial conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating the pictured beefsteak? The court will hear the opinion of the defense on this new puzzle. I assume you're ready, counsel? The mysterious third person that we keep talking about? Counsel? Oh, that means me, doesn't it? All right. The answer to this question is going to be pivotal. This is the start of you turning this trial around. Show them what you're made of. Right after you save, because you're a dirty, filthy coward. Oh, dude. I cooked steak yesterday. It was so freaking good. Oh man. Best steak I ever cooked. Got it. So, the person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been... Oh, you better believe I'm claiming I ate the other steak. Me.
Yes!
I I think it may have been. I love answering these questions wrong. What? It's not enough that you took the man's life, but you took his meal as well? That's a bee sting on a crying face. Some people seem to think they can do whatever they like. And some people seem to think they can say whatever they like. Rhinosuke. Sorry, you're right. Of course I didn't eat it. I think it may have been me. The next time you make a quip like that, I'll make you eat your words. Then you'll be needing some dental surgery yourself. Alright. I get the message. Alright, now I'm gonna claim it's the victim. The victim himself! Obviously. What? Rhinosuke, come on. Pull yourself together. The victim couldn't have been eating at the time. You just told the court that yourself. Oh, yes. Of course. I thought it didn't sound quite right. Look, you've even stunned the judge with that ludicrous answer. Alright then. I can use this state of shock to give me time to think and come up with the right answer. I suggest you think it through more carefully and try not to shock him in the first place. You're right. Sorry. The two witnesses. Every wrong answer first. I bet it was the sergeant and the antiques dealer. Are you taking the cake, cadet? You think I'd share rations with this decrepit graybeard? Insult me by associating me with this brutish carnivore, would you? You were both present at the scene. Neither of you can deny that you had the opportunity. You addle-brained idiot! I had my own regulation beefsteak set before me at my own table. And as any soldier worth his salt will tell you, you seize whatever rations are put in front of you. It would seem you need to reconsider your answer, Counsel. Of course, Your Excellency. All right, now we can blame the third party. There's one case in the first or second Phoenix Wright game where one of your answers can accidentally insinuate that the judge himself is the killer, and he penalizes the hell out of you for that. Like, if you've got back in those games, it used to be like a health bar. And if you accuse the judge, even if you have a full health bar, it'll take you down to like that. Obviously, it can only have been someone else who was sitting at the professor's table.
Objection!
You will not let this go, will you? There was no such person.
Yes!
There was, because I saw her. When the incident occurred, we know that the victim couldn't have been eating anything. Yet we have evidence of a half-eaten steak on his table. Therefore, the only logical conclusion is that there was somebody else there eating it. We have strong evidence to support our assertion. It's clear that these witness testimonies are unreliable. If the court decides to push through a ruling at this stage, we will lodge a formal complaint with the Ministry of Justice and pursue a fair retrial, relentlessly. Izuma? Are you insane? You would take on the government? Don't worry, Counsel. I have no issue with you. What do you mean? I have issue with them, the two witnesses in the stand. What? What are you talking about? We have demonstrated with evidence that the victim was not alone. So, if it now turns out that the two of you deliberately lied when giving your testimonies, obviously you will be charged with perjury. Perjury? And, since this is a murder trial, you will also be deemed complicit in the killing. Complicit? In murder? No!
Negative. There was no mention of this at the tactical meeting. I was just following orders.
That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they, told us. Oh. What? What did you just say? Oh, no. You were just following orders? Now hold on, lad. I was, Say you never saw the gentlewoman? When you say gentlewoman, do you mean you saw the victim with a lady from overseas? What?
Objection!
What? What is the meaning of all this? These witnesses gave false statements? Is this true, you pair? Just one simple slip of the tongue.
I wasn't prepared for him to be that enthusiastic about it.
Order, order. Counsel explains what's going on here.
It's painfully clear now. You tried to prevent these witnesses from telling the truth.
Absolutely not! The prosecution knows nothing of this.
Then who's behind this? Who tried to make you keep your mouth shut? Well,
that's classified.
So you're prepared to be tried as a conspirator to this murder, are you?
You wouldn't. This can't be happening.
Rhinosuke, judging from the way they're reacting to this, I'd say they were sworn to silence by someone with considerable influence. However, I don't believe Ouchie had any idea about it. What are you saying? I mean, to wield that kind of influence, there are only a handful of possibilities. Yeah, that's the witness's distressed stance. I love it. It could have only been the government, the military, or the police, I suppose. Yes. Sting has asked him to ask them to keep their mouths shut. Well, any ideas about who might be behind this? If we can affirm who tried to silence these witnesses, then we can continue our pursuit. So we need to name whoever it was that tried to make the witnesses keep their mouths shut. Yep. Of course, we'll need evidence before we make any firm accusations. Evidence that proves whoever it was really did wield his or her power here. Well, let us turn this over now? Yes, it will. Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga. You're not a waiter at all. Well, that's unexpected. What is? Look, do you see it says the witness's name here? Satoru Hosonaga. Well, yes, business cards do tend to show the person's name. That's sort of the point. It's not the name that's unexpected. It's his job title. His job? Oh! Chief Inspector Satoru Hosonaga, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. Inspector? What on earth? I have no idea. But let's face it, the police have a lot of power and influence, if they're wielding it somehow here. Yeah, there we go. That's what we were waiting for. But how? How can we possibly... Remember how we made progress before? Before? We examined this piece of evidence in more detail and found a new clue as a result. Oh, yes, that's right. Well, that's not the only piece of evidence we have, is it? We need to re-examine everything and make sure there's nothing we missed. There's no time to lose.
I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe.
Please, wait, Your Excellency. I had no idea about any of this. I swear to every Shinto god. I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say about all this? Well, Your Excellency.
Swear to me.
No time to think. I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes into my head. Besides the prosecution, the only person with the necessary influence to manipulate the witness...
Yes!
Well, surely that would be Satoru Hasanaga-san. Hasanaga-san? The waiter who took the stand earlier?
Objection!
Poppycock! What possible reason could the waiter have to make these witnesses give false testimony? Not to mention the fact that even a head waiter could not possibly have that level of influence. For once, I would agree with you. If, that is, the man truly were a waiter. What? If he truly were... Come on, Ryanosuke. Time to hit this court with the truth. The truth about Satoru Hasanaga-san's real identity, as proven by this evidence.
Yes!
What's the matter, Rocket? The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency. That's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. I beg your pardon. Or perhaps I should have said the front. Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Would somebody please explain what this overexcited student is trying to say? Hasanaga-san sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. Oh, I got it. The front of the business card reveals the man in question's profession. His true profession. The waiter's profession? But that surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police Bureau. I'm so glad they got me to read that jumble of syllables one more time. What? That the waiter is a police detective? I haven't heard any mention of this before. Why haven't I heard any mention of this before? The Imperial Police Bureau has immense power. Absolute power as far as the regular civilians are concerned. So, witnesses there in the stand. Was it in fact the waiter who gave you your orders? Was it he who told you not to mention that you'd seen this foreign gentlewoman at the scene? Well... Oh, is the waiter speaking up now? Yeah, he's still here. Inspector Hasanaga? I was worried something like this might happen. The moment you asked me to submit my sketch as evidence, I realized it was a possibility. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well... Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. Yes, I remember now. It's almost like it was very recently. He did act strangely when the judge asked him to hand over his business card. I strive to carry out all investigations flawlessly. It's my guiding principle. But I let myself be distracted when I made that sketch. It was an unusually careless mistake. So, you mean to say... Yeah. You really are a detective? I'm waiting for the next, good stopping spot. But why would a detective be working as a restaurant waiter? Ah, of course. Your salary must be terrible. I was working undercover. Undercover? Yes. There have been a series of incidents at the restaurant lately. That's another running joke in Phoenix, right? In order to investigate, I decided to get a job there as a waiter, working undercover. Incidents at the restaurant? What kind of incidents? That would be classified police information, which I am not at liberty to divulge. Yeah, poor Gumshoe. However, I can state categorically that they are unrelated to this case of homicide. Very well then, Inspector Hosonaga, but you will elaborate on one point for the court. Of course, Your Excellency. We have just heard new information from the two witnesses beside you. That at the time of the shooting, there was in fact another person present at the victim's table. If that is indeed true, clearly you would also have been aware of this person's presence, having served at the table in question. However, your testimony did not allude to this other diner. Therefore, I am led to assume that in your professional capacity as police officer, you required these witnesses to be in agreement. Whoops. Would that be correct? Oh, good. Have a good one, Dustin. Good luck. I don't know how you're migrating mail if their exchange clusters are offline, but good luck. Correct, Your Excellency. Unbelievable. As I suspected. Ah. As soon as I heard the gunshot, I ran out of the kitchen to see what had happened. The victim sat slumped in his chair, and beside him, gun in hand, stood the accused student. Sitting opposite the victim at the same table was a young lady, whom I guessed to be an Englishwoman. So the truth comes out. I immediately sealed off the restaurant and reported the incident to the Bureau. It was then that I received some special orders. Special orders? You mean to say, remove the Englishwoman from the scene at once? It was made clear that the Englishwoman's presence at the restaurant was to be concealed. Those were my orders. But what if this Englishwoman was the killer? I think it would be in everyone's best interest not to pursue that idea. The Empire views the friendly terms of its relationships with Britain more highly than anything at the moment. An Englishman has been murdered on our soil. To name an Englishwoman as the primary suspect, well, without irrefutable evidence, that would be completely out of the question. So that's the reason for the disappearance of the Phantom Woman in this case. But it's not right! One possibility does spring to mind. What do you mean, Kazuma? Yume University is currently hosting a number of exchange students from Great Britain, and I'm fairly certain that one of them, studying in the medical faculty's research laboratory, is a young Englishwoman. What? You're a shrewd man. I can see why you're the chosen candidate for the overseas study tour. You mean, when I removed the woman from the scene of the crime, I thought it prudent to check her identity first. And the court demands that you name the lady in question at once, Inspector. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. She is indeed a foreign student studying in the research laboratory of Yume University's medical facility. What? What is happening here? I admit that under orders from the police bureau, I erased all evidence of this lady's presence at the scene, and ordered those witnesses to make no mention of her in their testimonies. It must now be up to your excellency to decide how to deal with the situation. Very well. My thoughts on the matter are as follows. Thus far, the case presented to the court has been underpinned by a particularly critical premise. Namely, that the victim was dining alone. However, as we have now discovered that this premise is false, it would be a desecration of our justice system to ignore the truth and give a ruling at this point.
Objection!
But, Your Excellency, that would mean missing the new deadline of a ruling in order to send the telegraphic report to Great Britain. Our own government will surely be very displeased by such actions. Calm yourself, Counselor. I will not allow the government of our country or any other to influence the proceedings in my courtroom. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, sir. You will locate this Jezebel Brett and escort her to the courtroom with the utmost urgency. Alright. I think this is a good place to call it a night. Obviously, this could just keep going and going and going and not actually have a natural stopping point until we finish the case. But that's probably going to be another 30 minutes to an hour, and I'm not going to give that game the time right now.